It's fair to say that I'll talk about it a bit later. The project that we're talking about is effectively part of about 3 or 4 different projects that are all interlinked together. So I'll talk about that in a little bit in a moment. Back in 2012, Council actually established a climate change adaptation program and focusing on regional economy, utilities infrastructure, community infrastructure and council capacity. So it's a fairly large document. It's probably 150 odd pages long or something like that. So it's good bedtime reading if anyone suffers from insomnia. But as far as the regional economy, it was reduced agricultural and manufacturing productivity, population decline, ageing demographics, regional employment, those sorts of things. Utilities infrastructure was increased road construction and maintenance cost, which is something that's really hammering councils at the moment. Increased frequency of stormwater flooding. Dimboola has just gone through a massive drainage program at the moment, which has unfortunately gone over budget a little bit, but it's also one of those ones that's it was causing a lot of homes to be inundated with heavy storms and so forth. So that's all been finished now. Community infrastructure, so water supplies for footy ovals, rec reserves, maintenance cost of buildings and those sorts of things, and also demand on community volunteers. There's a lot of, as I said, the communities are becoming an ageing demographic, and sometimes that really impacts the volunteers in different community groups. So that has an issue there. And then council capacity, so increased demand on council services, declining income for councils through rates, etc. Difficulty in recruiting and retaining staff. We've always had hassles with that. Although I must say I've been there for about 14 years, so no one else has employed me, so I might as well work for council. Providing safe work environments and just reduce community capacity and resilience. So that was a project that was done, as I said, back in 2012, and it's probably been the catalyst for a lot of projects that we've actually continued to work on. So some of the things that we've actually undertaken was, we're going down the path now of installing solar lighting where we can. A lot of our community buildings and rec reserves do rainwater harvesting. Council offices and community centres and that are going with more efficient lighting, as is the streets. I think council and a whole range of other councils have just basically changed over street lighting in a number of places. Shade structures, we're just effectively going away from having shade sails, for want of another term, to more better shade structures. Again, that becomes a maintenance issue. And then watering systems and so forth. So we're basically trying to become a lot more efficient on that as well. Thanks, Jeff. So I guess the one that I want to talk about is, for want of another term, we called it the Greenlink. So it's basically a project that's happening in Dimboola and Jeparit. So it's basically creating, public open spaces, really multi-purpose, publicly accessible spaces. The two areas that they're being established in were really underutilised, as you'll see in a minute. It was a car park actually at the back of the library in Dimboola, so it was 1,000 square metres of asphalt. So that's actually all going to be ripped up and become like a green open space. In Jeparit, it's down near the caravan park, near the river there. So in both instances, it's actually establishing a nice green link between the town centres and the river environs. And importantly, there's another project that we're doing now, the Wimmera River Discovery Trail. So this project is actually going to form really good visitor nodes for both of those, in both of those towns. So the Dimboola one, it's part of a redevelopment of a community and civic precinct. So we've got funding to build a new library. We've also got funding to basically do up the existing library, and then at the back is the car park, which is 1,000 square metres of asphalt, as I said. So when the library is completed, that's going to be all ripped up. So we're going to be planting, about 700 trees, shrubs, ground covers, grasses, etc. I've got an overview of it in a second. We're going to put in interpretive signage, basically talking about the Indigenous culture, the Indigenous history, what we've actually done there. It's going to be all connected pathways, a lot of public seating and a lot of shade areas. So we're really creating that Greenlink in the main part of Dimboola where there's been nothing in the past. So, as you know, our summers do get pretty hot, and the only shade that was there was the verandas underneath the existing library. So we're hoping that this is going to become a really popular place for people just to go and sit and, they can get a book from the library or a magazine or whatever and just go out and sit in that environment. Thanks, Jim. So the other things that we're doing there is putting in some rainwater harvesting. So we're going to have rainwater tanks connected to all of the discharge and also subterranean watering systems. So we're trying to make that a lot more efficient. So the funding that we got through the community climate adaptation grant is basically really helping towards all of that environmental aspects of it, such as the tanks and so forth. So they're the sites that we're referring to, for those that don't know Dimboola very well. The main street is this one here, and that's the area that we're talking about, which is highlighted there. So as you can see, it is really just an asphalt car park. So that's all going to be ripped up. There's existing public toilets there. They're being demolished. The new library's being built here, and then the rest of that is effectively going to be landscaped. So that's ultimately what it's going to look like. This is a work in motion at the moment. It's not finalised, so there is some tweaking still to be done. But I think, as you can see, it's going to really improve the whole amenity of that part of town and make it into a very nice place for people to just sit and get out of the heat of the day and take some respite. One of the other things that's actually happened coincidentally is the Dimboola Cafe is just here, and there's an artist originally from Dimboola by the name of Travis Price, and he's just painted a huge mural, an Indigenous mural along that wall, and it really does look great. So if ever you're in Dim, just stop and have a look at that. And that's basically going to be the perfect segue into the rest of the area. So what happens from here is that we're going to have a boardwalk and then a bridge over a creek, and that then becomes the start of the Wimmera River Discovery Trail, which is a 63-kilometre link between Dimboola and Jeparit and onto Lake Hindmarsh. So Jeparit, we're doing a little bit different down there. It's actually the area in Jeparit's going to be just beside the caravan park. For those that know the river there, it's a very, very popular swimming hole. The erosion control system that there at the moment, for want of a really technical term, is stuffed. So we're basically fixing that up under another program. So again, there's going to be appropriate signage put up there. There's going to be pathways connecting back to car parks and the caravan park, public seating, shade trees, shelters, barbecue shelters, and effectively, again, creating a really nice community environment in Jeparit. We haven't actually got full designs or anything done for that one yet, so that's a work in progress. Thanks, Jim. So again, that's the location in Jeparit, down near the tennis courts, caravan park, and the river, and that's basically just a bit of an enlarged one. Thanks. And that's effectively what it looks like at the moment. So as you can see, that the integrity of this structure that's about 50 odd years old, it's pretty ordinary, very, very dangerous, and it's surprising that no one has really been hurt badly trying to get down into the river. And again, that's just an aerial overview of the whole area. So we're looking at effectively removing that road there. That's going to be closed off. Limestone will be ripped up, so that'll all become a green open space between the tennis courts, caravan park, and that river environment there next year. And that's just a photo of the erosion control. And again, that's just another aspect of the aerial of it. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.